recording, you know. So all praise to the Most High. Let's continue. So that's what the Most High say. The Most High, that's what he said, but people won't listen. So let's go back, brothers. Let's go back to the book of Lamentation. So we got to start thinking about the things that we do. This is the book of Lamentation, chapter 2, and verse 1. How have the Lord covered the daughter of Zion? So we the daughter of Zion, the so-called blacks, African American, Latino, and Native, we the people of the Bible. We the real Jew, we the Israelite. Right? And cast down from heaven onto the earth the beauty of Israel. We ain't beautiful anymore. Our women today, they think they're beautiful. They ain't beautiful. There's no righteousness in us anymore. As a nation, the righteousness is gone. All we do is evil. We hate each other. He said, and remember now his footstool in the day of his anger. Because we're the footstool of the Most High. Right? The Lord has swallowed up the habitation of Jacob. And that's what happened to us. Are we not being swallowed up? Yeah, we've been swallowed up. Why? Because of sin. Right? Let me read this quick, man. This is what happened. Let's go right here. We will go in the Apocrypha, right? So some don't know. We will go in the Apocrypha quick. Let's go in the book of the Apocrypha. We will go to Ecclesiasticus chapter 10 and verse 7. It says, pride is hateful before Yahweh and man, and by above does one commit iniquity. So being proud is a sin before the Most High. You cocky, you howdy, you make money, you got this, you got bling, 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 whatever. Okay? The Most High is against it. And men, they hate when you proud. You don't have anything. Normally, us, the so-called blacks, Latino, and Native, we can't be proud. Why? We don't own anything. We don't rule the earth. Are we ruling the earth literally? No, we don't rule the earth. We just consume it. We just consume. We just buy and follow people. That's what we don't have no power, no might in our hand. We didn't have no might. Who had the might? Esau. That's why Esau is proud. Because they have the power. They can lock you up. They can do this to you. They can shut down your YouTube video on Facebook. They can do all that because the power is in their hand. Normally, as a Negro, we can't be proud because we don't have power. We ain't really anything. So why are we proud? What are we proud of? Nothing. We ain't got nothing. We can't order Esau to be arrested and taken into the jail. We can't do that. We don't have that power. You see, that's why we can't be proud. We can't be proud. We don't have nothing. We don't run anything. From the north to the west, east, west, we don't run nothing. Absolutely zero, nada. What do we run? Nothing. We just consume it. And that's the reality our people don't want to take. We don't run anything. So let's continue. He say, because of unrighteous dealings, and that's what you see. When you go to West Africa, a lot of people still do that. Unrighteous dealing, corruption all over the place. Right? Corruption. They're more kind of like humble. They're kind of humble. I don't understand that. But corruption is seen in the pocket of many of our people. They embezzle money. They do a lot of things like that. Right? He said, because of unrighteous dealing, injury, and riches got by deceit. So riches got by deceit. Right? He said, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. You see? And that's what happened. Verses 2, Lamentation 2 and 2. He said, the Lord has swallowed up all the habitation of Jacob and had not pity. He had thrown down in his wrath the stronghold of the daughter of Judah. And that's what happened. Zion. Right? That's why no nation respect us. Look at us. They call us what? Coon. They call us what? Negro, blacks, African American, Nigerian, Benin. They call us all type of name. Right? They call us black, which is a color. Right? He said, he had brought them down to the ground. The Most High did that because of our sin. Brought them down to the ground. He had polluted the kingdom and the princes thereof. He had cut off in his fierce anger all the horn of Israel. And that's what happened to us. He had drawn back his right hand from before the enemy. The Most High used to fight our enemy. He used to destroy them for our sake. But guess what? No more. Now the Most High will do it for the righteous brother. All the elder, the brother that do the work of the Most High on the daily basis, risking their privacy, the liberty, the freedom to do so. Yeah, the Most High will defend them, man. That's the proverb, that's the prayer of Jeremiah. That's the prayer of Jeremiah. That's the prayer of Jeremiah, our forefather. David, they did the same thing. They asked the Most High to avenge upon the enemy. And that's what we got to do. We don't have to lift hand on somebody, take gun. We don't have to do none of those things. We don't need that. We don't need no gun. Yahweh doesn't need no gun to smoke the wicked. The most Yahweh doesn't need no gun. No. We don't need no gun. Our gun is the Bible. The Bible, our sword that we need is the Bible. Is the Bible. The proof is this one. When you go read in the book of Judith, right? Our foremother Judith, how did he kill Holofernes? How did he kill Holofernes? Bare hand. She just do like this, boom, and she was able to cut the head of this devil Holofernes like nothing, like this. He cut it back. Who give her the mighty power? The Most High. But if we don't believe, we don't trust in the Most High, it won't happen. Because with faith, that's what Hamashiach said. With faith, we can tell this mountain, move up, and the mountain they will remove. But if we don't have no faith, it's vain. So we got to have faith and do the work and hope in the Most High that He will do it. What did James say when we go in the book of James? What did he say? James chapter 1, when you read out 1 through 2, that's what he addressed. He said, we can't be tossed to and fro like a little children, like a wind. We can't be tossed to and fro. No. And we can't ask the Most High with double mind. Like you're asking the Most High something and you're thinking at the same time the Most High won't give it. Maybe He won't give it. You can't have that mindset and pray and ask the Most High. He won't give it to you. Because you're double-minded. You're being bipolar. That's being between two poles. Bipolar. Like Esau used the word right here. Bipolar, you're between two poles. You go to Satan, then you go to the Most High. You go to Satan, then you go. You can't operate like that. The Most High is not about that. You got to pick one side. You want to be with Satan, you stick with Satan. You want to be with the Most High, you stay with the Most High. Point blank period. You can't be bipolar. You can't be between two poles. You can't be between the north, the south, or you want to be between the east and the west. You can't do that. Right? He said, He had cut off in His fierce anger all the horn of Israel. He had drawn back His right hand from before the enemy, and He burned against Jacob like a flaming fire, which devoured round about. And that's what happened in 70 AD. 70 AD is all written, well documented in the book of our forefather called Flavius Josephus. The book is called The Complete Work of Josephus Flavius. Right? It's well written right there. In the book of our forefather that was residing where in Egypt, in Alexandria. Right? I do have the book. I don't have it on my hand right now. Otherwise, I'll bring it out too. He said the law was an enemy. You see, the Most High was an enemy. Why? Because we won't listen. You see? He said the law was an enemy. He had swallowed up Israel. He had swallowed all her palaces. He had destroyed his stronghold and had increased in the daughter of Judah mourning and lamentation. That's what you see in our women. Our women, they don't love the natural hair anymore. Because of sin, the woman that lost the hair and they're bleaching. Some of them, they're painting their hair blonde, trying to look like the slave master. They want to look like Esau. They want to have blue eye, blonde hair, blah, blah. All this is all weakness. This is foolishness, man. We can't operate like that. You see, because of sin, because of unrighteousness. Right? And He had violently taken away His tabernacle, our body. The Most High put us to death like this. Why? Because evil. Right? He said, as if we're of a garden, He had destroyed His places of the assembly. The Lord had caused the solemn feast and Sabbath to be forgotten in Zion, and had despised in the indignation of His anger the king and the priest. Right? So let's see. Let's go in the book of Tobit. Let's go in the book of Tobit. Right? I'm a precept that right there quick. Bear with me quick. I'm a precept that. Let's go in the book of Tobit. Right? In the Apocrypha. Right? Let's go in the book of Tobit. Right? Let's go to Tobit. Right? So this is the book of Tobit, chapter 2. Because right here I just read it. What did the Most High say? Let me read what He said. He said, well, the Lord, this is verse 6, Lamentations 2 and 6. He said, the Lord Yahweh had caused the solemn feast and Sabbath to be forgotten in Zion. And that's the main reason why a lot of people, they don't remember, they don't understand that we got to keep the Shabbat. They don't remember. Now, the one that are keeping the Shabbat today is because they remember. The Most High gave them the Holy Spirit. They've been born again. That's why they're keeping the Shabbat. So whosoever, men or women of our people or nation, that don't keep the Shabbat is because they're still blind. They're still blind. So peradventure, the Most High will have mercy and wake some of them up. But let's see. The same thing happened right here. So this is the book of Tobit, chapter 2, and verses 1. When I was come home again, and my wife Anna was restored to me, because the brother was taken as a captive, and his wife was taken away from him, things like that, right? Let's continue. He said, with my son Tobias, in the feast of Pentecost. So a lot of y'all don't want to keep the feast of the Most High. You see right here, again, in the feast of Pentecost, solemn assembly, the 50th day, we count 7 Shabbat, 7 complete weeks after the day that we bring what? The sheaf offering, right? Which is what? The day that we keep the Passover. Some brother says the next day. Things like that, right? But however you stay in the range. So, he said, in the feast of Pentecost, which is the holy feast of the 7 weeks. I just said it. 7 complete weeks, making 49. And on the 50th is what? The Pentecost. Right? Okay. It's called also the feast of weeks. The feast of weeks. Solemn assembly. There was a good dinner prepared me. There was a good dinner prepared me, in which I sat down to eat. And when I saw abundance of meat, so he got plenty food. Today, our people think their feast. Imagine in the time of this, because I tell you, man, I've seen in West Africa when there is a feast, when there is a pagan thing that we're doing, like we used to keep all this pagan New Year, blah, 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 all these things, or there is like some ceremony, anything going on. Listen, you can't eat. I'm not joking. Food, plenty. Like we say, go. When you go to West Africa, country like Benin, food, plenty. But I don't know as of today. But are people not greedy when it comes to food? In West Africa, they ain't greedy. They offer you food is nothing. They ain't nothing. They offer you food in Africa. West Africa, the Negro over there, they'll offer you food. It doesn't bother them. They'll buy you food. Right? They'll buy you food. So imagine back in, today we think that we got plenty food. We ain't got no food today. Because imagine this time he said, well, and when I saw abundance of meat, I said to my son, this is Toby, he said, go and bring what poor man soever thou shalt find out of thy brethren, who is mindful of the Lord. Now, did he say to go bring out sinner? No. Those of humble and meek spirit that believe in the Most High, they keep the law, the commandment of the Most High, but the Most High didn't bless them with that much substance. Right? So the brother understood. You see what we call righteousness? Now, today, they will say, oh, you know what, poor anybody. No, he didn't say that. Do not lie. Thou shalt not lie. Do not add them to the word of the Most High. Let them really slowly, because some brother might. Actually, they say, go and bring what poor man soever, woman or man, thou shalt find out of thy brethren. So the word brethren, that means your race. So he's telling the brother, they were in a Nineveh. He was in Nineveh, literally Nineveh. So he was telling the brother, to his son, Tobias, to go and bring in those that fear the Most High. They keep the law, the commandment of the Most High. You see that? By a mixed spirit. That's why Christ said, go the byway, the highway, and beat them unto the wedding of the Most High, unto the feast of the Most High. So those of mixed spirit, because it's the brother, that's what they're doing. When we go on the highway, on the byway, doing the work of the Most High, that's what we're doing. We're beating them to the feast of the wedding of the Most High. How? Because we're bringing out the work with the word of the Most High unto them. Whether they want to forbear or they want to hear, whatever, we got to bring it up. We do it as the Most High commanded. You see that? He said, of our brethren, so our race, who is mindful of the law and law, are tarry for thee. He said, I won't eat anything. I won't touch until you bring those poor of our people. Those that fear the Most High. They need to eat with us. This is the feast of the Most High. They got to come. Right? So let's see what else he did. But he came again and said, Father, one of our nation is strangled. You see that? We don't have that spirit today. When we see our brother being killed, we don't stand up for our brother. We don't do that anymore. But when we see the enemy being killed, we go save the enemy. But we see our own brother, our own race, our own nation, we won't do anything about that. We won't do anything. It's just Israel. We're wicked. Point blank, period. You see the other nation, they stand for their own race. You look at the Chinese, they stand for their own race first. You look at the Arabs, they put their own people right there first. You look at the East Indian, they put their people out there first. They prioritize their race first. Look at the so-called white man. He prioritized his own people first. They prioritize their own people first. It doesn't matter. Their people come first, number one. We're the only race, we're the only people on the face of the earth, as the so-called blacks, Latino, and Native, that we don't prioritize our own people. We don't want to defend our race, but we want to join him with the enemy. That's what we do, right? He said, Father, one of our nation, so an Israelite, is strangled and is cast out in the marketplace. Then before I had tasted of any meat, I started up and took him up into a room until the going down of the sun. Then I returned and washed myself, because when you touch a dead body, you'll be unclean. So he went and washed himself. It's the law in the Bible, so all this got to be kept, right? He said, and washed myself and ate my meat in heaviness. So the brother, he kept the feast in heaviness, because you can't stop, because if he doesn't keep the feast, that's breaking also the law. Because the Most High already established the feast, regardless of what happened. If a brother died whatsoever, we still got to keep the feast in heaviness. It's part of the prophecy. Hosea, we'll go over there to Hosea and I'm going to show you. Amos, right? Let's read it. It say, remember, this is Tobit chapter 2 verse 6. He said, remembering that prophecy of Amos, as he said, your feast shall be turned into mourning and all your mirth into lamentation. Right? You see that? And that's what happened. Right? That's what happened exactly. Because when we go right here, like I say, if you go in the book of Amos, it's the same thing. Same thing, right? Let's go over there. Well, I just read it right here now. It say Amos, right? We go to Amos, you see the same thing. The Moses say he will turn what? Our face into what? Let's go. Amos 8 and 10. In heaviness. Okay, let's go over there. This is the book of Amos, right? Right. This is the book of Amos, right? First and foremost, the Shabbat. The Moses rejected. Why? Because of weakness. Because of wrongdoing. Since we won't obey the voice of the Moses will reject all those things. Let's read Amos first. Right? Let's go to Amos. This is the book of Amos chapter, let me see what I want. Chapter 8 and verses 10. This is the book of Amos chapter 8 and verses 10. Let's read it. And read. It says, and I will turn your face into mourning, and all your song into lamentation, and I'll bring up sackcloth upon all loins, and baldness upon every head, and I will make it as the mourning of an only son, and the end thereof as a bitter day. And that's what happened. That's what literally happened. Because our people, we're rebellious people. We won't hearken to the Most High. We won't keep the commandment of the Most High. You see that? So that's what's happened. Israel. As a nation, we're going off all day long. Right? Let's continue. He said, in verse 7, this is Lamentation 2 and 7. He said, the Lord had cast off his altar. He had abhorred his sanctuary. He had given up into the hand of the enemy the walls of her palaces. They have made a noise in the house of the Lord as in the day of a solemn feast. You see? You see? The Lord had purposed to destroy the wall of the daughter of Zion. He has stretched out a line. He had not withdrawn his hand from destroying. Therefore, he made the rampart and the wall to lament. They languished together. Let's go to Jeremiah 14 and 2. Jeremiah 14 and 2. Let's go over there. Let's go over there. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 14 and verses 1 through 2. He said, the word of the Lord Yahweh that came to Jeremiah concerning the deaf. Judah mourning, the so-called Negro, the so-called blacks, the so-called African American. We mourning. Look at the state our people live, man. Look how black people being oppressed. Here in Babylon the Great. Look at how the Latino, the native are being oppressed. Over 100 million of our forefathers, the Northern Kingdom, they were put to death like nothing. And those that commit such crime, they see walking freely and nothing happened to them. They're the one actually ruling over us because of our sin, because of our iniquity. You see, Judah mourning. And always is Judah that is the number one target. From all you see is Judah, number one, always the main target. Why? Because of the spirit of Christ. Because Christ, Yahweh Shai, he's from the tribe of Judah because of his spirit. So the word that make it sound like they love Jesus. But in fact, they hate Jesus. They hate Yahweh Shai. But they make everybody believe like, yeah, we this, we that. No, don't fall for that. I tell you straight up, bro, don't fall for that thing. It's a deception, man. They got sweet word, smooth as butter, but what? Sword was in their hand. So never trust thy enemy. Sirach 12 and 10. Never trust thy enemy. Never, never, don't do that. Do not trust Esau. It doesn't matter. The job you got with Esau is not from Esau. It's from the Most High. The Most High literally gave you the job. If you got a job, it's because of the Most High. Esau cannot give you job willingly. It's not happening. It's the Most High that moved the spirit. The Most High forced them to give us job, but people don't appreciate that. They think, yeah, Esau, give me a job. So you can't say anything against Esau. Hey, listen, I rebuke Esau all day long. I rebuke Esau all day long. All day long. And that's what we do. That's our duty. That's what we got to do. It's a Judah money. So the so-called African American, the so-called Negro, the so-called blacks, okay, Nigerian, Beninese, Ghanaian. He said, well, language, he said, they are black onto the ground. Because when you look at the ground, it's different shade of brown. He said, we so dark. We so dark. Why? You know why? Because we always in the plantation. We are always on the field, outside, working. Maybe we work in the field. We're working, trying. Always when you look at the so-called Negro, we're always working. You go in West Africa. So the more you stay under the sun, the darker you get. That's what the brother is bringing out. So the people of the Bible, the red Jews, they're dark-skinned people. They're dark-skinned people. They are not pale-skinned people. Now, we do have our people, a lot of people that look like Esau. Why? Because we mingle with the other nation. We marry the daughter. Vice versa, right? So we got to keep in mind. Judah can be light-skinned. Judah can look like Esau. You know why? If the father is light-skinned Judah, and the father go marry Edomite, pale-skinned Edomite, how will the baby comes out? The baby will come out fully pale, look like Esau. Because the father is already light-skinned Judah. Then the father goes and marry Esau, woman. What will happen? The baby will look just like Esau. So, confusion of faces. So we got to be careful, right? It's based on your father. This thing that we teach is based on your father. It's not necessarily color. It's based on your father. Because there's a lot of people that look like us. They look like us, but they are not us. They are not our people because their father is Esau. Or the father is a so-called Chinese man. Or the father is an Arab. Things like that. It's all go back to your father. Your lineage. The men carry the seed. Right? That's the Most High. That's the Most High. Number 118. Right? You see, and the cry of Jerusalem is gone up. The cry, the lamentation of Jerusalem is gone up. And that's what you see today. This is Jacob's trouble. Everything they do on this earth is because of us. It's because of us. People don't believe it. Why would all this happen? Because of black people, so-called black? Really? Because of black people are born? Yeah? I don't think so. People don't believe it. People don't believe it. All this happening because we're about to receive the kingdom. And the Moses is preparing us for that. We got to get ready because after all this, we still got to go in the wilderness. Because the Moses got to try our spirit. Because there will be some of our people that are going to rebel. They're going to back up against the Most High. They'll back up against the Most High. Like in the time of Moses. When the Most High brought people into the wilderness, because they're going to say, oh, you got to wash your hand. Some people, they're looking for oven, stove. They're looking for dishwasher. There won't be no dishwasher in the kingdom. Okay? There won't be no dishwasher in the kingdom. Keep in mind. So as a woman, there won't be no dishwasher. You're going to go to the well and you're going to draw the water from the well. Pure, natural. Our women, are they ready to do that? Is the woman willing to go gather the wood, get some stone and set up the spot to cook the food for her husband, for the king? Listen, that's how it's going to go down, buddy. There won't be no washing machine. Oh, you looking for this and that. Oh, you want this tissue to wipe your face after. It ain't going to be like that. It ain't going to be like that. So you got to start preparing your mind right now. We got to prepare our woman. You got to prepare your daughter, your mind. Listen, the kingdom, it won't be like all this bling bling we got here, man. You'll be all natural. Okay? All natural. So keep in mind, there won't be no dishwasher. You got to wash your dishes with your hand. Okay? There won't be what? No washing machine for your clothing. You wash your clothing with your hand, with soap and bare hand. Keep in mind, I know how to do that. I was raised up and taught washing my clothes with hand in West Africa. I thank the Lord for that. Hey, I'm still doing it. I do it. Maybe not all the time, once here and there. Because when everything be taken down, how are you going to survive? And there won't be no electricity in the kingdom. There will be light, candle, light, natural light, things like that. So keep in mind, man, we got to get ready. Some of you I'll say you are addicted to all the blaming of this kingdom, Babylon the Great of Esau. Esau came out with so much technology that our people, they caught him into that. And you don't want to leave Babylon. And that's what happened to the wife of Lot. She won't leave the place because she look at it and say, oh my goodness, I won't leave this place. I don't want to leave. Where am I going? With all this money I make, oh my God. She said, oh Lord, where? The angel told, don't look backward. Don't look, because he loved the place so much. And that was going to happen to most of our people. And, they can stay home and call Dash Door and order food, pizza. It ain't going to be now in the kingdom. You can order food. You got to move your ass from the couch and get to work. Do something. So you got to be ready. You got to breastfeed the baby. There won't be no formula milk, man. Keep in mind, that's another thing too, man. There won't be no diaper like you go buy and you just, no. Diaper will be made with what? Clothing, rain clothing. That's what I seen in West Africa. That's how the kingdom will be, buddy. Keep in mind, man. There won't be no diaper with all these chemicals that give all this side effect to the baby. All this, they be itching, scratching the part the baby. No, there won't be no that in the kingdom. There won't be that. You're gonna do your own diaper with clothing. Okay, you take a clothing. There is a way they cut it up, shape it up, and you wrap up your baby into that thing. And guess what? There won't be no infant milk. Infant milk, no. The only the milk that will be breast milk, cow milk, goat milk, pretty. Are you willing to do that? Are you willing as a woman to breastfeed your baby with the breast milk as the most